Storm Amy is now rapidly deepening across the Atlantic and will hit the UK during the rest of Friday, bringing the risk of heavy rain and exceptionally strong winds for many parts of the country. Amy is currently being picked up by the jet stream, and it's during Friday afternoon as it transfers to the cold side of the jet stream that it really spins up. Lots of isobars being added to the centre of the low, and that means very strong winds. Amy will then push into Western Scotland and Northern Ireland during Friday afternoon, and this gives you an idea of the expected wind gusts and the peak timings of those wind gusts. Friday evening, 6 p.m, you can see this broad swathe of strong winds across the north and the west of the UK. Anything coloured up is more than 50 miles an hour. But some of these darker colours here indicates wind gusts of 60, 70 miles an hour for parts of northwest England, North Wales, Western Scotland and Northern Ireland. But there's this peak zone just to the south of Amy where wind gusts are expected to get up to 80 miles an hour plus, and a very narrow swathe pushing into parts of the Western Isles of wind gusts of more than 100 miles per hour. Now note as well that the low pressure centre passes through parts of Lewis and Harris, so actually winds light here initially before the next bout of very strong winds arrives overnight, and during the early hours those very strong winds transfer to other parts of northern Scotland, but it stays very blustery across the whole of the UK through the night and into much of the weekend. Now this gives you an idea of some of the yellow and amber warnings. Yellow warning covering much of the UK, but we've got these amber warnings for western parts of Northern Ireland and much of the north and west of Scotland. Then we've got rain warnings as well, because not only do we have the very strong winds, we've got some wet weather moving in, especially across Northern Ireland into Western Scotland and West Wales. That's already happening, that heavy and persistent rain falling on top of what has been a wet few days. The wet weather then moves across the whole of the UK during Friday afternoon, always the heaviest rain in the north, and it's as the persistent rain clears that the winds really pick up through the Irish Sea into Western Scotland and Northern Ireland as the afternoon comes to an end. Amber warnings come into force, and temperatures fairly academic given how wet and windy it's going to be across all parts of the UK. But it's the north of the UK expected to see the strongest of the winds, as I say, peaking during Friday evening across Western Scotland and Northern Ireland. 4 to 5 hours of the strongest winds, 80 mile per hour for western and northern parts of Northern Ireland, 100 mile per hour plus for parts of the Western Isles and the west coast of Scotland, combined with very blustery showers, heavy downpours. But we've got this band of rain clearing parts of England and Wales, and this also could be a lively feature. 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts as it clears through for a short time on that weather front, followed by further showers across all parts and some persistent wet weather across the north and west of Scotland. Now across the northeast of Scotland, it's actually during Saturday morning that the winds peak here. Again, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts widely, with the risk of 80 to 85 miles an hour for the northeast of Scotland, and an amber warning here also enforced throughout much of Saturday. The winds stay strong across the whole of the UK through Saturday, only moderating significantly as we go into Sunday. So Saturday is a very blustery day. Like I say, during the morning, widely wind gusts of 50, 60 miles an hour. Peak winds at this stage, northeast Scotland, 70 to 85 mile per hour wind gusts here as the low pulls away. Persistent rain as well could cause some issues for the northwest Highlands. Perhaps 70 to 100 millimetres of rain falling throughout Saturday. And yeah, it's going to be very showery elsewhere with heavy downpours, but some brightness emerging in between the downpours. It's not going to be raining all the time. There will be sunny spells, particularly towards the south and the east. Feeling much colder on Saturday, actually, particularly cold in that strong wind. It's coming from the northwest. Then as we go into Saturday night, the rain eases in the north, the showers tend to become fewer and further between elsewhere, and the wind finally comes down. So Sunday, still changeable, still some rain and showers around, still a breeze, but nowhere near as lively as the next 36 hours. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel. We'll have full updates through the day, and full updates on the weather warnings, of course, can be found on the Met Office website and app. Bye-bye.